Hello, hello. Welcome. Today we are doing maximize your margins. So this is a 3-part training, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. We're going to be talking about how to increase your profit margins while getting your time back, okay? Now, the best way to be prepared for anything is by I should say, what are we preparing for? First of all, we know that whether a recession is coming, it is here. We need to make sure we're focusing on profit more than anything. And the best way to do that right now is by really building up your cash reserve and having that security. And where does the cash reserve come from? It comes from your profit margin. Okay. So, over the next 3 days, I'm going to be covering a 3-step framework for helping you get there as fast as possible. Instagram, please know I am in my Facebook group. I'll give you, we'll have somebody in the comments put that link in there if you want to join me. That's where my slides are going to be, and everything is going to be inside of there. Okay. So, with that said, I've been in business now for over 20 years, and I've been through the 2008 recession and then, of course, the pandemic, which are very, very different. So, if you are thinking, I haven't been through a recession, but I've been through a pandemic and I know what that feels like, there are differences. And we're going to talk about that this week. Now, my strategy, no matter what is coming my way, is hope for the best, right? And prepare for the worst. And that strategy has gotten me through pretty well the last 20 years. So, I'm going to stick with that strategy. Now, in case you're brand new to me, I want to make sure you know just a little bit like, why am I qualified to teach this? So, I have 2 different businesses, both producing over $1 million a year in revenue. One that I started 20 years ago. I have 2 children's performing arts academies, dance, music, things like that, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And we grew so quickly, even during the recession. Like during the recession, we were building $1 million state of the art dance and music school. Okay. When a lot of businesses were closing. Even through the pandemic, we came out better than before, which is a miracle. And then basically about 10 years ago, I started to get out of the day-to-day operations, and I'll share why a little bit this week too. And as that started to happen, people were going, how are you doing this? And that is what sparked my online business 7 years ago. And that business today is already a multiple 7-figure per year business. So I know a thing or two about growing a business quickly and also being focused on profit margins and not just vanity metrics. So I'm going to be talking all about that this week. Okay. Now, if you have not officially signed up, go to maximizeyourmargins.co. You'll be getting all of the emails. With that said, and this time, like typically I hire a copywriter and they write my emails. And this time I wrote every single word you will read in those emails. Every single day I am sharing stories. I am giving additional content. It is not just, hey, reminder, we're going live. There is some really good stuff in there. So go to maximizeyourmargins.co. Okay, so today we're going to cover 3 steps to financial freedom, how to increase your cash flow without adding a new product, because everybody thinks more, right? Even if you've tried everything and your margins are low, we've got you covered, okay? It's how we've helped business owners like Melina. Melina said before, Stacy, we were at $32,000 a month and now we're at $87,000 months and counting. Susanna said within the first week of joining, she added over $30,000 in profit to her business. And I share this one because I don't want you thinking this is a long-term strategy. Like you're going to reap the rewards 10 years from now. No, this is somebody who implemented something in 1 week and was able to reap those rewards. Okay. Now, our goal is to help you do all 3 of these. Increase your cash flow, grow your profit, and create time wealth, right? To help you build a true business asset, a business that doesn't rely solely on you. How many of you know your business needs you? Like there is no way it would run without you. Say me in the chat. Okay. We're going to show you how to maximize what you have, get your team set with clear objectives and goals, and really light a fire under everybody. And we're going to show you which systems to put in place to scale your revenue. Okay. Now, real quick, if you have key players in your business, I want you to have them go through this with you, okay? It takes a village. And trust me, when they're here and they're drinking the Kool-Aid with you, you will leave here on fire together and you'll be more likely to implement. If you strictly are here by yourself and then you have to go convince them, we should do this and we should implement that, a lot of times there's just a disconnect. So shoot a quick text, let them know to jump in here, or have them watch the replay today and then join you the rest of the week. It will also help increase your chances that you finish this. And not only that, you actually implement, okay? Now, when you get on the same page, right? When you start to drink the Kool-Aid together, and I say Kool-Aid in a good way, right? I want my team to be drinking my Kool-Aid so we can move faster together. You together will become a force that can't be stopped. If you've been doing this alone, it is too much to carry. And it's not necessary for you to do it all by yourself, okay? Let them help you. I'm going to show you this week how. Now, if you, like I said, want to shoot a quick text, now is the time to do that. Real quick housekeeping, and then we're getting right into this. So, housekeeping. Clear your calendar all week, Monday through Wednesday, core content. I'll be back Thursday, Friday for bonus. After today, I hope you're like, this was so good. There's no way I'm not missing the rest of the week. So put it in there. Prizes each day. So we have, I'll share with you why in a minute this is important to us, but we have these cute little bracelets you can see here that say Powerhouse on it. We have bracelets and necklaces. They come in gold and silver. I'm going to be giving away one of these every single day to somebody who is here live engaging in the Facebook group. So Instagram, come join us. And then prizes for the top 5 most engaged inside of the Facebook group all week. Okay. And then today is your last day to buy the VIP upgrade. So you can go to stacytushel.com/VIP if you want a little bit of extra coaching. They'll be joining me on Zoom Tuesday through Friday this week. You haven't missed anything yet with some bonus trainings as well. It is still $47, but it'll be going up tomorrow to $197. So grab that now. Okay. One big warning that I want to share, and this is a big one. So please listen. Okay. You're going to hear things that are going to excite you. And by the end of today, you're going to want to like do something and promote somebody to leadership, and you're going to want to move fast. And I want you, just please don't, I want you to slow down. Okay. I want you to let everything sink in this week. Don't have any serious conversations with anybody on your team or make any bold firing moves when we start talking about your team, right? Please don't do that. All right. I want you to wait. Let this sink in. By the end of the week, you will go, okay, I know what my next best move is. But if you do something on Tuesday and you didn't listen to Wednesday or Thursday, right? You might run into some problems. Okay. Now, like I said, this is a 3-day challenge, but I'll be back day 4 and day 5. That those of you that want to go deeper. Okay. So let me go back 1 second. Okay, so let's just dive in. Like we're jumping into this. So get your pen and paper out. Now, when small businesses are looking to grow their business, they typically look for marketing strategies. Okay, they assume they need more visibility, right? They need to add more people to see what they've got to offer. I know this because I have sold several marketing programs, and I see the people that come in that think they need marketing, right? But what I want you to realize is what many of them don't realize is that your lack of operations can make any good or great marketing strategy ineffective. Okay. Now, we help business owners get more customers through the door, more profit in their pocket, and more happiness in their home. Okay. That is our mission. Now, more revenue doesn't always mean more profit. So we aim to do all 3 together, right? And the reason I bring up all 3 is because you might get more revenue and more profit, but it took you an extra day, or it took you working 6 days a week or 7 days a week or never getting a break. All right. We want to make sure that you are doing this with all 3 to feel more of a balance. Now, I personally know how exhausting it can be to run a business that looks successful on the outside. Right. But then you're drowning on the inside. You're exhausted. Maybe you're still not paying yourself. Right. Does anybody know that feeling of like working so hard behind the scenes and you feel like you just can't catch up? Say me in the chat. Now, today things are much different. Here at Well Oiled Operations, we don't do business stress. And like I said, I own 2 7-figure businesses. I work exclusively from home. I take several family vacations. I vacation more than the average person. This year, we're heading to our Florida home pretty much once a month from October through April. We live here in Wisconsin, but that's how often we're going to be traveling just for a personal trip. But I have really great boundaries, and we're financially doing well. And I have a team that I fully can trust when I step away and know the business is in good hands. All right. But trust me when I say I did not start there. We all have to go through a few phases before that happens. And I want to quickly show you what those are, because sometimes people try to skip a step, and you cannot skip these steps. This is what you will go through. So the first stage is what I call a pioneer. You've got new ideas all the time. Goals are constantly changing. Systems are mostly in your head, or you implement them in real time when you need them. right? There's not a lot of consistency in the beginning stage. And you maybe you're bringing on like a part-time contractor helping you, right? You probably don't have a ton of consistency in revenue either. Okay. There are definitely things that are still very unpredictable. Now, this does not mean you're not making money. Okay. It just means that you're still a little bit more like it can be shiny object syndrome, right? You can hear something today and have it implemented by the end of the day, which, yes, there are pros and cons to all of this, right? So, some of you may identify right now with still being a pioneer. Okay. Put pioneer in the chat if you think that is you. Okay. All right, next, Pathfinder. Okay. So, what does a Pathfinder look like? Now, Pathfinder is the stage where you start to find your way and actually gain traction. You know, you've got something, your products are more solidified, you're a little bit more established, you know your ideal client. You're starting to build out your team, adding one person at a time, right? Maybe you didn't think you wanted a team, but now you realize like you need a team. So, you're also starting to notice that balls are dropping. And you've got to put some systems in place, but you don't really necessarily know where to start. Anybody in the Pathfinder stage, put Pathfinder in now. Okay, next up, Power Player. So, Power Player, you're in the game. Okay, it feels like you're winning, but it can also feel like you take two steps forward and then you take one step back, right? You're adding people to your team. You've realized you don't want to do this alone. That was a terrible idea, right? You're learning how to delegate, but you're a work in progress. And sometimes you do secretly wish you could just go back to the days when it was just you and maybe a little bit less complex. Okay. Now, there's definitely room for improvement here, but things are feeling better, right? Any power players in here? Say power player in the chat. We've got a good mix in here. I love this. Okay, then finally a powerhouse. So powerhouse is like our word. It is we've have a program called Powerhouse. Like we just our people are powerhouses. I identify as a powerhouse. So with this powerhouse, this is why we have it on our bracelets, but you're heavily focused on transferring the responsibility over to your team so you can truly step out of the day-to-day operations. You're focusing on things you love to do and that really lights you up and that you're good at, and you let everybody else do the rest. Your profit margin is healthy. You're paying yourself a solid, consistent paycheck. This is what you envisioned when you first thought, I want to start a business, right? Any powerhouses in here, say powerhouse in the chat. Now, I want to ask you, what stage are you in right now? Okay. What stage are you in right now? Put it in the comments below. Are you a powerhouse, power player, pathfinder, or pioneer? Now, how many of you know you're capable of becoming a powerhouse? Say yes in the chat. And here's where I really want this to sink in all week. I want you to begin to identify as a powerhouse now. Okay. You've got to step into that identity before it ever happens, or it just won't happen. Right. So if you're at maybe six figures shooting for seven or seven figures shooting for eight, you have to ask yourself, like, what would that person I want to be? What would he or she already be doing? What would they be thinking? How would they be acting? Right? What would they do in the morning? What would they do during the middle of their workday? How often would they be working? These are all things I want you to be thinking about. You want to step into who a powerhouse is now for you to get there. Okay. Now, I always tell people I am a powerhouse and I tend to attract powerhouses. So if you are here, I have a good feeling you are definitely on that path and hopefully have that identity already. Now, I want to read our manifesto because I think this also gets people going. This is me, right? So it says, I am a powerhouse, a go-getter, a trailblazer. I'm going to throw this on my screen bigger. Here we go. I am a powerhouse, a go-getter, a trailblazer, high-level entrepreneur. I'm an intentional implementer and a content machine. Life doesn't happen to me, it happens for me. I will not be stopped. I show up for myself, for my family, and for my team. I create, inspire, and challenge. I will leave my mark on the world because I am a powerhouse. I didn't choose entrepreneurship, it chose me. I am paving the way and making space for others while raising the standard of excellence. I am a dreamer, doer, and believer. I want it all and I won't settle for anything less than everything because I am a powerhouse. Now, we have this manifesto in a screensaver for your phone. So if you want, go check on Instagram. We'll post that today for you. If you want to screenshot it and save it to your phone, it is a phenomenal reminder of who you are and who you need to be stepping into. Sound good? And then, like I said today, make sure you're engaging with the Facebook group. I'm going to pick somebody to win. You can pick a bracelet or a necklace, gold or silver with the powerhouse symbol engraved on there. Okay. So, what I want you to know is there are always two sides. There is what you see, right? And what is really going on. And one of my businesses, like I mentioned, is a children's performing arts academy. So, as a dancer, the two sides would be more of the performance side, right? And then they would be more of the practice or the rehearsal side, right? Now, with that said, back in 2014, this was a while ago, I had thought that I had reached the most amazing level of success. I thought back then, like, this was it. Okay. I was a new mom. I was working exclusively from home and I was out of the day to day operations. The business was generating seven figures. And I thought yeah, I was collecting a consistent paycheck, right? All these things like felt really good. I thought this is what success feels like. This was also the performance that everybody else saw or assumed. But when I look back now, here is what I see. I see a non present mom multitasking, parenting while working, right? The computer was glued to my lap and my phone was always nearby. I was like on standby, right? Tanner, my daughter, thought it was this huge game to slam my laptop down and talk about a distraction, right? Trying to get work done. But I felt the guilt of having to keep her home, right? I don't know if any of you felt that. I went through a massive identity crisis when I had my first 9 years ago. I felt like people would assume I would have to keep my daughter home because I worked from home. Like what kind of person sends their kid to daycare when they work from home, right? I felt like I would look like a terrible mom. So I kept her home the first 18 months. So up until this point, I was running a seven-figure business while watching my daughter full time. This was back when Kent, my husband, worked second and third shift. So he would be sleeping while I was working, right? And then he would be up while we were sleeping. So it was just a very different schedule. And he had a very important job. He was on the SWAT team. So anytime they needed him, it trumped whatever I had to do that day, right? And I felt this pressure to do it all and to be everything to everyone. Anybody feel like that a little bit? Now, what's crazy is I believed life was great and I was really happy. But I see now it's because life was not that great or maybe a little miserable in some of those startup phases, right? Going from Pioneer to Pathfinder to Power Player, right? You kind of don't realize like, you just don't know what you don't know. You don't know what's coming, right? So it was just because like it wasn't as good that I didn't realize moving up those stages. And that's what's funny about it, right? Sometimes you think you've made it, but you have no idea how much better the stages get. And sometimes I bring this up because sometimes I have clients who will say, I don't want to hit a million. That sounds stressful. Or I don't want a $10 million business. Like I feel like 4 million sounds good, right? And the reason we say this sometimes is because we assume that life is about to get a whole lot harder. Like, I don't know. I only know how to run a multiple six-figure business. I can't even imagine what seven figures feels like. But what I'll tell you is, and this is my experience, and I'd love for you other entrepreneurs to share in the chat right now to show other people, but every time I move up a level, it gets easier. It doesn't get harder for me. Like I would never want to go back to the level underneath me, right? Every single time it gets easier. Is that true for you? Does it get easier? Say yes in the chat. And I want you to see how many people are going to say, absolutely. It's so much easier now than it was before, right? So I don't want you afraid to climb that ladder, right? I want you to be excited about what's to come. And right now, you just don't know because you haven't been there yet, all right? So remember that when you are thinking about those levels and where you want to go. Like I said, I just didn't know what I didn't know. So when Tanner would run over and she would slam the computer down, she couldn't talk yet. She was that little, but I knew exactly what she was saying. Stop working, right? But I couldn't. They needed me. My team needed me. My clients needed me. I might have been out of the building and out of the day to day, but I was still everywhere. I was in all of the things. I was still micromanaging. I had a team, but I wasn't letting them own anything or take responsibility. Anyone ever been there, right? Maybe you're still there. There are stages of delegation that we're going to cover this week. Okay. I was still in the stage where I was double checking everything, right? Which is called micromanaging. Okay. Now, I didn't fully trust. And what is crazy looking back is it wasn't that I didn't trust them, it's that I didn't fully trust me. Okay. Did I make the right decision leading up to this point? Did I hire the right people? Did I put them in the right seats? Were my systems clear enough for them to understand? Did they know where they were? Right. So over the years, I've learned to trust myself more. And with that has come true freedom. But it takes time. And some of these strategies we are going to cover this week, right? It's going to take a little bit. But today is the day we get started. And when you use our well-oiled operations framework, you're going to trust yourself at another level, and you'll begin to transfer that trust over, and you'll start to work your way up that ladder. Okay. Now, before you think, I'm not ready for this yet, how many of you already thought that? These are foundational principles for your business. I wish I would have learned this at the beginning, right? Because the longer you wait, the more you have to undo later. Hear me say that. The longer you wait, the more you procrastinate, the more of a mess you will have to undo later. And for those of you that have been doing this for a while, maybe years, maybe decades, and you have some stuff to undo, I want you to let the shame and guilt go. And you know the guilt I'm talking about, the one that's like, I should be doing this already. How did I not know this? I should have done better, right? All of those. But remember, every mistake you've made is a learning lesson. Sometimes it's a very expensive lesson, but it could always have been worse. Like I always think that, right? You're here to learn from those mistakes and put systems into place to make sure you reduce your risk in it from happening again. Okay. Now, I have two things I want to ask you. First, I want you to separate yourself from your business. You are not your business, and your business is not your baby. Have you ever said that or thought that? Right? Many people relate to their business as their baby, and we become so attached to our businesses, right? But the problem is, most entrepreneurs treat their business as a baby that never grows up. Babies get bigger, they become toddlers, they go to kindergarten, middle school, high school, right? Hopefully, they're going to leave the nest one day. But one of the biggest problems I see is that owners hold on to their business as a baby. You have to let your business grow up. You can't keep it a baby forever. So we'll be talking about letting go and how to do this in our bonus training on day 4. Okay. Now, next, second, I want you to hear me. You right now are this year's version of you. The mistakes you've made in the past do not make your identity. Okay. And you are about to enter into a whole nother, like next year's version. And it's a whole other level. But I need you to be open to the transformation, willing to do things differently, right? I'm asking you to change your baby. This is a big ask. I know that. In fact, I'm asking you to kind of disown it and let it start to fly on its own. And you may not believe it's ready to. And let's be honest, it probably isn't right now. But by the end of the week, I want you to see the possibility of what it could look like and how you start implementing, right? As you start to do this. Now, I saw somebody say, what? A business that's not stressful? Like, can't believe this, right? And that's the thing. It's like we get so caught up into this is normal. Business owners are stressed out. And honestly, they usually are. But there's another way to do business. And that's what we're going to be covering all week. Now, as we jump into this next section of today's training, you can't be in denial. All right. As we go through this process together, you don't have to share publicly, but I need you to really be honest with yourself and your team. I don't want you to be embarrassed. Don't pretend you're at a level that you aren't, because it's not going to help you, right? It's okay to say, we are currently here, but we need to get to here. And here's what we're going to do about that, right? So just be super honest. Now, our goal is for you is to help you build that freedom business, not just for you, but for your team. Most of the people we work with, they want 3 things. They want growth, increased revenues, right? They want profit, higher profit margins, and they want time, freedom, and flexibility. Okay. Sometimes they're embarrassed to share this because they're thinking, well, what is my team going to think? What are my clients going to think? Right. And I'll tell you that the way that we do this framework, your clients will be happier. Your team members will love working for you. Okay. The way that we put emphasis on client delivery, they will love, love coming and buying from you. Okay. The buying experience. We're going to cover all of that. Now, this is how we get there. Over the next 3 days, I'm going to walk you through our 3-step framework, well-oiled operations. Step 1, phase 1, plan, the what, people, the who, and process, the how. Okay. So phase 1, well-oiled strategic planning, is really gaining clarity and defining a roadmap where you're heading and where you need to focus. So no more going back and forth on your plan. You set it and you stick to it, right? Now, how many of you have set a goal for this year and you've already changed it? Like you set it in maybe December or January, and you don't remember it. You've already changed it. You don't even know what it is, right? How many of you right there? Like, what does that look like for you? Okay. Phase 2, well-oiled leadership, building a dream team and enrolling them in the vision and getting them on board with the plan. and how they play a part in it. Okay. And then phase three, well oiled systems, putting systems and processes into place so that you can step out of the day to day operations and do what you love and what you're good at in the highest paid activities. Why? Because the business needs a CEO. You might be calling yourself a CEO, but you might not be acting like a CEO. We've got to get you acting there. We're going to be talking about money making systems on day three, so don't miss it. Now, which one do you think right now, without even knowing what we're going to talk about, what do you think you need the most help with right now? One, two, or three? One is the plan, two is the people, three is the process. Maybe your plan isn't solidified and things keep changing. You're confusing everybody, including yourself, right? You might have a team, but without transferring ownership, it's like you're still running the show, and most likely you're getting frustrated with the people you do have. Or maybe you might not have trouble delegating, but balls are getting dropped and with no follow through, or you've just like, you're not even sure if you're delegating the right things, all the stuff, right? What are you most struggling with? One, two, or three? People in process, two, two, three, two, one, one. Okay, no worries. We're going to get into all of this. Now, we've got 9 pillars, 3 in each, 3 phases, I should say 3 like core components in each phase. And I'm going to give you a few tips in each of them this week. Now, do not get overwhelmed because you're going to assess yourself. So when you decide that this is the place I need to focus, then the other stuff can wait. You dive into the stuff you know you need. Sound good? Okay, so today I'm going to give you a quick overview, help you assess, and then tomorrow I'm going to go into phase 1 and phase 2 deep dive, and then day 3 I'll go into phase 3 deep dive. Okay, so first we're going to start with strategic planning, and we are going to tackle roadmap. Now, this is what Susanna worked on that brought her in an extra $30,000 in literally 1 week of joining our program and implementing this. 1 week, okay? And this was profit. So pay attention, okay? So, how many times have you changed your goal this year? Maybe you went really big, then you realized you weren't going to hit it, so you just like lowered it, right? Maybe you didn't tell anybody because it was so big, you kind of gave them a fake number like, "Oh, we're going to do this," but then in your head you're like, "Oh, we're really going to do this," right? I have done both of those before. We've got to figure out how to get crystal clear, okay? Because we've got to get you and everyone you work with paddling in the same direction. They need to know the destination, how fast they need to be paddling, what speed, when are the breaks, what's expected, and so on, right? When it comes to business, a lot of owners keep the information from the people that are helping them accomplish their goals. How many of you know you are not sharing enough transparently with the people on your team that are helping you build this business? Okay. You need to make sure everybody is on the same page. Not everyone has to agree, because let's be real, that's not going to happen. But everybody needs to know where the business is going. Goals are public knowledge. Your team has a critical number. More on that tomorrow. And they know how they play a part in that goal. So here's where we're going to start to rate ourselves. I want you to put an R, a Y, or a green, or a G. Okay. R, Y, G. So R for red is if the team has no idea what your goals are. You don't even know what the goals are. You can't even remember what you wrote down, right? Yellow is always like a kind of, sort of, maybe. Like you're kind of doing it, right? Green, you're all on the same page. Every single person in the company knows what is happening, what you're shooting for, and what winning looks like. Okay. Red, yellow, or green, put it in the chat. Okay. Lots of reds. And honestly, guys, don't be sad about the reds, because guess what? The second you change this, business will drastically change. Okay. Drastically. All right. From here. Now remember, write this down, like make my little circle and write this down, because tomorrow when we're talking about certain things, you're going to know, man, we got to fix this. Like this is most important for me. Okay. All right. Next, prioritization. Okay. Now, do you ever notice how urgent everything feels? Anytime you want to do something, right? Like right now, you might be thinking, oh my goodness, I need to immediately tell the team. Like, I just need to stop right now and go tell them, right? Everything feels like we have to do it right this second. Okay. Now, the problem is when we assign things to the team members, everything feels urgent to them too. And we all know that if they have 7 urgent things on the to-do list, right? And no order of priority, there's going to be confusion. They're not going to know what to work on. They're probably going to be messing things up, right? You want to make sure that each person on your team has a list of things to do in order of priority. They should know What to do next. We just talked about this on our team meeting this morning. I told my team we have to sign something to one of our VAs, lots of stuff. I said, just confirm they know that as long as they do it in order, they don't hop around, everything's going to be fine. Okay. If you aren't prioritizing for your team, that alone is going to help you. They also should have key performance indicators. We'll talk about this tomorrow, as well as daily, weekly, or monthly reporting, depending on their role. Okay. Every week, we are prioritizing for our team so that they know exactly what needs to get done and by when. We do not just throw a bunch of stuff and then let them decide, because that's when you get angry and frustrated. Like, why are they doing this? Right? It's like because they're waiting for you. So by forcing us to put it in order, you'll start to see, oh my goodness, I'm giving them a lot of work. This is probably not realistic for them to get done this week. Make sense? Okay, prioritization. Red, no prioritization or KPIs. You've got a to-do list and you've told them do this, right? Yellow, you're getting there, right? Green, everybody knows what to do in order of priority. There's no confusion. All tasks have due dates, deadlines, right? As well as they have KPIs with weekly reporting in place. RYG, put it in the chat. Okay. So this is going to be really good information. If you're like, why am I not going? Or I wish I could go faster. I am literally showing you what is missing from your planning. Okay. I hope you're already getting some light bulbs, right? Light bulbs are going off and you're going, I'm not doing this. I need to be doing this. Okay. All right. So next piece. All right. Next piece is maximizing ROI. Now, paying your team is going to be one of the biggest expenses you have every single month. How many of you have people on your team? Just put like team, yes or no, so I can see that. Okay. My payroll is over $100,000 a month between both businesses. I am paying over $1 million a year in payroll. Okay. So trust me, this is really important to me to maximize the people that I have, right? Now, unfortunately, people try to solve problems by hiring another person before they've actually maximized the people they already have on their team. So one of my favorite ways to figure this out is a calendar audit. We are doing audits every 90 days. We use it as a tool in our business to figure out how much time is being spent on projects versus daily routines. And we see how long somebody is spending on Instagram, for instance, right? So I figure out, wow, she's working this much on Instagram. I know what I pay her. I figure out this is what Instagram is costing me. Am I making that kind of money from Instagram? How many of you are not doing stuff like that? You have no idea. You're like, well, I pay somebody to post, but I don't really know if I'm making any money from it, right? So there's a lot of things that when people come into our business or they hire us, we're not giving them a ton of things to do. We're actually giving them a ton of things to stop doing because it's just wasting money. It's hurting their margins and they're not actually getting a result from it. Okay. We guarantee our clients increased profit margins while reducing their time by 25%. And that is a big promise. But we've worked with enough business owners to know that most of what they're doing is not producing a result. So by scrapping certain activities, it doesn't impact their bottom line, right? And then with that extra time, now we focus on the money-making activities where they're going to get results, right? Higher profit margin and more time back. Now, when I ask you about maximizing ROI, I want to specifically here talk about team members. The people you're paying, are you getting money back from them, right? Are you actually seeing a return? Red would be you have no idea if team members are maxed out, if they have more capacity, or you know that they aren't 100% working on the right things, right? Yellow, you're starting to kind of sort out. Green, everyone is effective and efficient and is working on things that produce an ROI. Where are you here? Red, yellow, or green? Okay. All right. So again, all things for you just to like stop and consider. Tomorrow is going to be filled with strategy on how to make this happen. Today is just a quick assessment of what you need. Tomorrow, we've got the how. Okay. Now, if you had to stop right here, the training was over, and you had to pick one that you felt you needed the most, 1, 2, or 3, roadmap, prioritization, or maximizing ROI, put that in the chat right now. 1, 2, or 3. Which one would you choose that you feel like you have the biggest opportunity to really make a difference in your business and in the margins? I'll be interested to see that one. Okay. Now, here's the thing. They are all necessary. We need them all. For us, the biggest thing we focus on when bringing on a new client is the roadmap. Okay. I mean, yes, you can definitely make a difference with 2 and 3, But without the roadmap, it's hard to set them up for 2 and 3. Okay. So there's not a wrong answer. If you're like, no, 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 we're pretty clear. We just need number 3. That's fine. But usually roadmap is where we do some massive, massive tweaking. Okay. All right. A lot of 3s. Okay. Good to know. A lot of 3s. All right. Next piece of this puzzle is our well-oiled leadership. Okay. So the first piece that we focus on here are team meetings. Now, I don't want you thinking, oh, I don't have a team. I just have like a VA. If you have one person that you have paid to do anything for you, you have a team. Like, let's be very, very clear. A team is not just a full-time employee. Okay. A team is anybody you are paying to help you produce a result. Okay. What I need you to know is team meeting rhythms are a must. Once everybody is on the same page, how do we remind them constantly of the vision? Where are we going? What do we need to get there? Why the focus is on X, Y, and Z, right? Consistent meetings on the calendar is a must. Now, this will vary depending on your business, the type of team member. Are they part-time, full-time employee versus contractor? You might be meeting with somebody once a month, once a week, right? We'll get into more logistics tomorrow on this, but no matter who you hire, you should be meeting with these people, okay? Now, it's where you look at the plan, the same pager you just created, and then where they can see what we need to do as a company, and then you can help them figure out what they are doing to participate to help you get there, okay? So, with this strategy, nothing falls through the cracks, right? People are like, I don't understand. I told her to do this and now she didn't do it and she forgot and all the things, right? We don't have this problem because we're meeting consistently. Okay, where are you with team meetings? Red, you have no meetings. They are non-existent or just not effective. Yellow, sometimes but not regularly. Green, yes, consistent meetings are scheduled and on the calendar with agendas and they are effective. They are money-making meetings. Okay, I really like that. I might have to put that somewhere in my program. Okay, so next, we're moving into boundaries and communication. Okay, are your boundaries non-existent? I honestly rarely see somebody come in with like impeccable boundaries. There is usually a lot of places like room for improvement when it comes to clients and team members. Okay, and it's just because with clients, we believe like over delivery starts to feel like where's the line of over deliver and being taken advantage of, right? And then your team, you're supposed to be supportive and you're just not really sure. So a lot of times people just don't know. So what happens is they're just like, call me when you need me, text me when you need me, I'm here when you need me, right? And there's just this open line of communication. And that should not be the case. You need clear, set boundaries. This is how we communicate. This is where we communicate. This is where it should be happening and how often. And if you have trouble with this, wait till tomorrow's meeting, right? All of that kind of stuff. So I want you to get really clear on this. Where are you with your boundaries? And like I said, I'm probably going to see a lot of reds in here because I see this a lot as people come into our program. So red is I'm constantly interrupted all day from clients or my team members. Yellow, you're getting there. Green, you have excellent boundaries and people follow them. Red, yellow, or green, throw it in the chat. Okay, last piece in this section, solid foundations. So one of the most critical times that you will experience with people joining your team is the first 90 days. It is where you set the tone and you set them up for success. And hopefully within 90 days, you're seeing an ROI on the work they're doing. So I always tell people the first 90 days, you need to pay for their salary, all of that. 90 days in, they should have a clear plan on how to recoup the money that we are spending on them. We turn our team into revenue generators, okay? A lot of times people do not help their team fly. They expect them to know everything and they're like, why is this not working? What is happening, right? And you have to have clear onboarding systems. So if you have no onboarding systems, the expectations have not been clearly set in the first 90 days, there is a lack of training in onboarding and or after 90 days, this is a red, okay? Yellow, you kind of give them some time, but it's not really a system yet. And green is we have a rock solid onboarding system and ongoing training in place. Your team needs you. If you are unhappy or frustrated with anybody's performance on your team, I can guarantee you there is something you are not doing that could be helping them. Guarantee it. Okay. Now, with this section on leadership, if you had to pick one of the 3 that would really move the needle for you and your business, which one would it be? 1, team meetings. 2, boundaries and communication. 3, solid foundations. All right, last piece. I got to keep cruising because we have so much to cover. Okay, well-oiled systems. This is definitely something I think we have become known for because people know they need systems, but they don't know where to start or how to optimize or is it worth it, right? All the things. So, we're going to cover SOPs and transferring ownership of those systems to others on day 3, okay? I've got a framework that I'm going to share called leveraged and lucrative. So make sure you show up on Wednesday. Now, I recently bought a program and my experience was fine until I talked to my friend and she had a completely different experience to the point where I said, I don't think we bought the same thing. Like, I have a feeling we don't have the same package, right? And what happened was we did buy the same thing. It was their lack of systems that caused an inconsistent delivery and a very unhappy client experience. And this can cost you a fortune. If you think systems are boring and it has nothing to do with making you money, systems can cost you so much money if you don't have them in place, okay? You've got to make sure that you and or anyone on your team is delivering a consistent product each and every time. If your systems are in your head and you find yourself winging it most of the time, you're going to have problems, okay? Here's the thing. We should all have referrals in our business. Word of mouth should be huge in every one of our businesses. If your product is good, people should be referring you, right? But if they're friends, if their friends are buying the same product, they're going to talk about it, right? So you're going to run into problems if that's the case. Now, one of the first places we teach people to put systems in place is client delivery. We call this sold out systems, and it focuses on increasing the customer lifetime value. How do you get your current people to keep buying, to spend more, to tell their friends about you? Okay. Not enough business owners focus on this. They just want marketing, right? But not our well-oiled clients, right? The SOPs are a huge place we put time and energy into this. Now, SOPs stand for standard operating procedures. That means step-by-step instructions that are carried out by your company the same way every time. That's all I have to say to you. Do you have those? Red, we have very little systems when are written down and used consistently by all team members. Yellow, kind of started, right? All of that. Green, everyone on the team knows where to find the documented systems and our processes are consistent no matter who is doing it. I will be very impressed if I see greens in this section, just because most people, they push this off. They think, oh, this isn't going to make us money. People that are putting green right now, like, you know what you're doing and you see the value in that. So great job. All right. Last piece or I should say that next one is ownership. People taking accountability for those systems. You make a system so anybody can do it. Imagine that. When you say like a business not stressed, well, if you have systems and other people can do those systems, it's amazing, right? So just because you have a team doesn't mean you're allowing them to lead. I've seen people with leadership teams, but there are no leaders. Let me say that again. I see leadership teams and I'm thinking, you're not this is not a true leader, right? The only person there is the stressed out CEO, and we've got to allow others to step up and take ownership. Okay. So ownership, just because you have a team doesn't mean you're allowing them to lead. I want you to hear that again. The places that we're doing this in: marketing, getting leaders in marketing, getting leaders in operations, getting leaders in fulfillment. Okay. Red, you have no leaders or no true leaders that are actually having ownership in the business. Yellow, sort of, kind of, you're working on it. Green, we have all 3 departments with true leaders leading, and the CEO does not own any of these: red, yellow, or green. And last, we're wrapping up here. I'll be doing the giveaway of the bracelet or necklace in just a second. Okay, last piece is leverage. Leverage is all about using what you have, leaning into what's working, what's not, and constantly evaluating what you need to let go of and what to lean in on. On day 3, I'm going to go over your time, your money, your team, your best sellers, and your best clients. And I'm going to show you how, first of all, if any of you need quick cash after the summer, that alone is going to make a massive difference. But it's not just about quick cash. It's about always going back to a reliable source and making them better and better and better. Okay. So, red, we are not leveraging what we currently have. Maybe you're thinking more, new. We're on Instagram. Let's get on TikTok. We need a new product. Let's hire another person, but you're not maximizing the people you already have. Yellow, sort of kind of working on it. Green, we are constantly refining and getting stronger when it comes to money, time, team, bestsellers, and best clients. Out of these three, where do you need to put most of your energy? 1, SOPs, systems. 2, ownership. 3, leverage. Put it in the chat. 1, 2, or 3. Okay. Now, the reason I do this big assessment is because tomorrow and Wednesday, I am coming with a lot of systems, a lot of strategy, a lot of tips. And I know that you will get overwhelmed. But if you come in and you know, I need to hear this, maybe you're going to go, I really just want to hear planning, or I want to hear planning, but I want to hear something with boundaries over here. And I want to come back on day 3 for this, right? You know what you need to do. Now, I'm not saying disregard the other strategies. I'm just saying you might not be writing down some of those tactics. It might be a parking lot, save it for later moment, right? But I do want you to really prioritize based off of what you said you needed. Okay. A lot of ones. We have a lot of people that want systems. Amazing. Day 3 is going to be amazing for you for sure. Now, like I said, take an honest look at what is going on to find that biggest area of opportunity. So here's what we notice when people start to work with us. Everyone wants to scale and they assume it means adding more products, more social media, more everything, right? That's how they assume we scale. But really, it's simplifying. It's staying lean. Like in my online business alone, we have less products than last year. We have less team members than last year because we are just getting that smarter, that stronger, more automations, all of it, but still producing a similar revenue with a higher profit margin than last year. Okay. So I want you to be thinking about, how could I be simplifying? How can I be staying lean in the business? Are you putting enough emphasis on profit? What do you think? How profit focused are you? Now, you see, here's the thing with $1 million businesses. They can look very, very different. Let's do $1 million business number 1. $1 million grossed. They have a 7% profit margin. Now, you might be thinking, 7%, that's horrible. I have seen $1 million businesses with a negative profit margin. Okay. So 7% might sound great to some of you. That's $70,000 left over at the end of the year. You might think, whoa, if I had $70,000 left over, that'd be amazing. But $70,000 is not even 1 month's cash reserve, which means they're not taking that money out of that bank account. They're going to leave it in there for the business. They won't even feel it. Okay. Company B, $1 million, 30% profit margin, which means 300,000. Who do you want to be? Company A or company B? Right? Of course, company B, right? Over the next 3 days, we're going to teach you how to become company B. And honestly, sometimes company A is like 2 million in revenue, but they've made 75,000. And then company B is like 1 million in revenue, but they profited 80,000. And some people would still pick company A. Some people would, because they just want the gross revenues. They want to be able to say they've hit this number, right? Because the profit margin's more, it's hidden, right? Okay. So we've got some big stuff to cover this week. Real quick, if you want a bracelet or a necklace, say me in the chat and do me the favor, say your full name, because I'm on StreamYard. So it says Facebook user and I won't know who to call you out. So say your full name with me, or just put your full name. And I can see some people. So Karen, I do see yours. But anyway, put your name in there. I'm going to call somebody out. And while I'm doing this, got a couple things to share. And then I'm going to call somebody out. Last chance. If you know you want some extra time with me, tomorrow we kick off with some hot seats and some Q&A. If you want that extra time, come hang out. Go to stacytuschel.com/VIP. It's $47. Okay, tomorrow it's going to be going up to $197, so get it today. That's happening tomorrow. This week, I'm going to be sharing on Wednesday all about our well-oiled operations program, okay? If you know this content is exactly what you need just by today, you're like, I was red and yellow all over the place, I need help, you can go to welloiledoperations.com to learn more and book a call. Here's the biggest thing I want you to know. We are taking 36 businesses for the month of our September class, and we have already pre-sold 10 spots, okay? So we are down to 26 spots. If you want to snag one of those before we launch it to thousands of people on Wednesday, you can skip the line and book your call now. Go to welloiledoperations.com. Okay. Here's what people are saying about our programs. Megan said, since joining Stacy's programs, I've increased my revenue 5x while maintaining a 45% profit margin and only working 22 hours per week. Rachel said, in my first year of business, I generated over $400,000 with a 50% profit margin. That's what I'm talking about, right? How can we be focused on profit margin? What does that look like? All right. The winner. All week, if you're the winner, please shoot us an email at info@stacytushel.com to claim your prize. Tomorrow, we're talking how to stack your wealth. How to stack your wealth without hiring another team member, even if you had a tight grip on everything and have trouble delegating. I'm going to be going through phase 1 and phase 2 in depth. Get your pen and paper ready. Okay. I'm scrolling. We're picking Janice Berryman. Janice, congratulations. Shoot us an email, info@stacytushel.com. Tomorrow, I'll stick around for some Q&A. Today, I want just to kind of let this like simmer for a little bit. But yeah, you'll get an opportunity to ask some questions tomorrow. So please make sure to show up, ask a question, be prepared, bring that with you, okay? All right, everyone, have a phenomenal rest of your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central, and the VIPs, I'll see you at 10:30. Bye, everyone.